Welcome in to this edition of Citrus Prep's live stream podcast, along with Mike Deem. I'm Brett Knutson, and it's a change of the seasons. We knew it was coming. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's already here. Winter is here. Well, not really.
Not outside.
Weather-wise, yeah, it's not.
Not yet. But
sports-wise, it is.
Yeah, hard to believe. It flew by. Unfortunately for Citrus County schools, the postseason in football didn't last as long as we would have hoped. It came to an end on Friday night down at Zephyr Hills High School for Crystal River. Tough loss to a really good Zephyr Hills team, a talented team. I don't necessarily say that the score was indicative of how the game went. 35-0 was the final, but a couple of things with that game, being down there and noticing. First and foremost, there was no DeAndre Parker for Crystal River.
Number one.
Had an injury and could not play. I know when I talked to Coach Lowry the week of the game, he was hoping he would be okay. The day I talked to him, he was actually at the doctor trying to get the latest update, and obviously just not able to go. Jaden Williams also got hurt as the game went on, and he was out as well. But it was a game that, 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's 10-0 Zephyr Hills. Crystal River puts together a really good drive. A bad punt by Zephyr Hills. A couple of nice runs by Crystal River. They take the ball inside the 5. They have it first and goal. About to go in for a touchdown. And a fumble recovered by Zephyr Hills. Crystal River stops them. 3 and out, gets the ball back. Misses a field goal late. And then with about 20-some seconds left, Zephyr Hills gets the ball at the 35-yard line. 2-3 plays, boom, they're in. It's
so much over there.
Yeah, it's over at the half. But, you just wonder
what would have happened at that point.
Yeah, if there's no turnover, if they get into the end zone, it's 10-7. I think, Crystal River was up against it because they didn't have one of their top 2 offensive weapons. And Zephyr Hills had a lot of weapons. But, Crystal River defensively hung in there. I would have loved to have seen that game play out 10-7 with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. I would like to see how it went. I was not overwhelmingly impressed with Zephyr Hills. They're a good team. They're undefeated. That's not going to be a team that's going to hoist the state championship in my mind. No disrespect to them. It just, that was not a team that was 35 points better than Crystal River. But playoff games sometimes take a life of their own sometimes.
They do.
And, Crystal River was down. And you can't discount what it does to a team when your best player is out.
Right.
And you get down early, which didn't help. It was 10-0 after the very first quarter. Zephyr Hills scored on the last play of the first quarter. I think it was an 88-yard touchdown run. But Crystal River was still fighting, and they were there. I don't know, even if they score to make it 10-7 without DeAndre Parker, if they are able to sustain it and win it. But there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
injuries and
injuries happen. But and Noah Bresson had to step up, and he's the one that fumbled on the goal line. But I tell you what, the kid has played tremendous all year, both sides of the ball, and you got to expect him to come in.
No, he was trying to reach for some extra yards,
and he got knocked out. It popped out. I saw it. It's not his fault. It's fault. But the point I'm saying is that Noah played really hard, and he had to put him in position that he had to play, and that's what it is. DeAndre Parker wasn't available. It was their most dynamic playmaker that they have.
That's the other thing. And I walked by the sidelines late in the first quarter, and Jaden Williams was talking to DeAndre Parker. He's like, "Man, I'm gassed. How do you play every play?" And that's some of the things that fans and people watching. It's not just that DeAndre Parker is out and they're missing him on offense. Well, they're missing him on defense
too.
The number of snaps that he has to take. Well, now Jaden Williams becomes the guy who takes 75-80% of the snaps and or handoffs instead of more 50-50. So it's more of a toll on him. So he's probably not as fresh as he needs to be on defense.
So
Kyle Robinson comes in and has to, and Noah Brett. So it's a whole.
It affects everything, and that's what's happened with Crystal River.
And if you're going to play a team as good as Zephyr Hills or anybody in the state playoffs, and you want to win, you've got to be close to 100%, and it didn't happen. But a great year for Cliff Lowry,
big time. And first year coach coming in doing that, fantastic year.
Yeah, he did a great job. 11 talented seniors moving on. Wish all of them the best of luck. As hopefully some of them, I know some of them will have an opportunity to play at the next level, and so it's sort of now back to the drawing board for the rest of the team as they get ready for next year. We already kind of talked about Citrus and Crystal River and Lecanto and Seven Rivers, as they all are now in the get ready for next year.
Yeah, it's weightlifting time now. Starting to go.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, I mean,
one team though in the local area, Dunellen's still going strong. Beat South Sumter 41-13. Now they're going to travel and take on Santa Fe in a regional championship. So good luck to them. Pretty good program up there.
Well, yeah, and that's a team that is getting better as the season goes on. Part of it is due to health. Part of it is they move some players around.
And the quarterback, that quarterback is very dynamic.
Yep, and Goolsby back and healthy. They played an unbelievably difficult schedule. I think it was 9 teams that they got bonus points for, which means they were teams in the playoffs one of the last 3 years. And I think South Sumter found out this was the second time they played him. I thought it was going to be a little closer. No. I have a feeling Santa Fe is going to find out that, maybe you are the higher seed and maybe you are the home team. You don't want to play Dunellen right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they move on and perhaps they battle it out with the Villages for a regional championship and a spot in the state semifinals. It could happen.
It would be nice to have a local team like that in the state championship.
So wish them the best of luck. And I know a couple of the other fall sports have come to an end since we last talked to you last week. We talked about Jacob Hensley, a great
8th and 2A state cross country, a great finish for his senior season. A USF USF bound.
Yep.
Going to be running for the Bulls, and that's going to be great for him and a good finish.
The girls team for cross country did fantastic for Citrus as well. Good job by Lecanto, boys and girls cross country as well. They had a solid finish at state, and I know swimming is still going on. They just got finished.
Swimming and diving is still going on
with regionals, and they're moving on to state. So best of luck to
mentioned Sophia Macassa, I think is that, and then there's a couple other swimmers.
She won a regional title and headed to state. So
if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll work on that. So that is about to come to an end, and I know the winter sports not only are practicing, but now they're playing. We had a high school girls soccer game last night.
Lecanto beats Crystal River 9-1.
Lecanto, of course,
girls soccer.
An amazing season last year. Still lost a couple of talented young ladies, but looks like Coach Towns got some more that are able to pick up the slack. They're going to be good again this year.
Yeah.
The challenge will be to replicate that run through the state tournament, but you can only do it one game at a time, and they got off to a good start. Winning
here,
over Crystal River, and we'll be talking to the girls soccer teams as we get moving, and of course basketball underway as well. I know this week mainly is the preseason classics, and then next week is when things really get tipped off.
The girls had won though, didn't they?
The girls. I know girls played last night. I know the boys girls from Lecanto and Citrus are playing tonight over at Citrus High School. So you've got those going on, and then the season really kicks off next week, which, believe it or not, is Thanksgiving.
Really?
It is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I promise you.
Oh, wow.
It's a week from tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
So that will get us into the high school basketball season, as we've talked about for a few weeks now. Again, we'll continue with our podcasts every week, and we will continue with our game of the week every week. This is just a brief synopsis of what we're going to do and get underway. December the 4th, which is just a couple weeks away, a big district battle between Weeki Wachee and Lecanto girls. Weeki Wachee, unquestioned the favorite to win that district in 6A7. They ran through it last year with very little trouble. They have 3 talented players returning again this year, so they will be the favorite. And it'll be interesting to see what Lecanto, Crystal River, and Citrus can do to try and step up a little closer to Weeki Wachee. Crystal River's got a few holes to fill on the girls' side. we'll see if they can do it, and Coach Charlie Bryant will try and get that team back to where they have been a state playoff team for the last couple of years.
15-10 last year.
That's pretty good. And we'll see if they can do that. Of course, Ron Allen coaching at Lecanto. They lost a couple of seniors, but they do have their leading scorer back, Ariel Stevens, and she's also their leading rebounder, so they'll have to as Coach Allen talked about, that I watched them play last night. They've got to overcome a size deficit. Small team. They've got to be able to be. They're going to be a scrappy
down the court
team
here a little bit, going a little faster.
They're going to have to make some shots. And Citrus, a little disappointing year last year for the girls. They're going to have to make some strides this year to try and move up in the standings. They finished nicely last year and on a nice little run. We'll see if they can do that again. On the boys' side, Lecanto. I know I talked to Coach Velarde the other day. They've lost a lot, and it's still rebuild mode for Coach Velarde over there at Lecanto. So we'll see if they can pick things up. And he's got a lot of young men that haven't played a lot of minutes. They're going to have to play a lot of minutes for that Lecanto team. And it's almost a new look from last year. And he was hoping, I think, that maybe a few more of the kids would be back. But
they got Nathan Kopp and Peyton Velarde coming back for seniors.
Peyton really the one that has played a lot, and he's going to have to. You're right. He's going to have to drive things, and we'll see. Tom Densmore, of course, over at Citrus, does a fantastic job over there. I know we talk about it all the time during the high school basketball season that with Coach Densmore, don't believe what you see in November and December, because it will be completely different when you get to January. They will improve. They will get better. They will be a team you don't want to play at the end of the year. He knows what he's doing. There's
a couple
of
seniors on that team too, though. 6'10" Trace Vitt, senior center. So you got a couple big guys in there, but there's a couple of kids that we got to look at coming up for them on the senior side. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seniors on there. So
going to have to again, same story on the boys side. You're going to have to figure out a way to catch Nature Coast. Nature Coast boys are the team to beat. They have been, and they will be again this year. Jim Irvin, the head coach at Crystal River. As I talked to Coach Velarde, just kind of talking about the district, he said the best player in the district, certainly in this area, is DeAndre Parker on the basketball court. How healthy is he? Because he'll run the show at Crystal River, and if he's healthy, he's a dynamic playmaker and scorer for that team. And they play that up and down style. They're not afraid to run up and down the court and shoot the basketball. And we'll see if they can put it together. And look, I think we've got 3 outstanding boys coaches in this county that I think all 3 of them, their teams will be much better in January. And then when we talk about district play, they'll be much better then than they are to start the year. So that'll be interesting.
Don't forget about Seven Rivers now. You got to get Seven Rivers in there too.
Coach Dreyer on the girls' side does a fantastic job. Always competitive. I know they're looking to get a little better this year, make a move up in the district standings. And so, Coach Dreyer knows what he's doing over there. And they're going to have to, they've got a lot of girls last year that played, and they were young, and I think that will certainly do them some favors this year.
And then Coach McLeod with the boys on the boys' side, see what he's got to do here. He's got 6'5" Alex Martin in there, a senior. That's going to be his
football player.
Football player coming in there.
An athlete who can play and help them out. So that's what we're getting ready for next. There's a look at our schedule. We're going to add probably a couple more games in there than that, but that's the basic schedule. As you see, it's going to be just about every Friday night throughout the basketball season. We will have a game of the week live stream on YouTube. Same thing as we did during the football season, and of course those are the places where you can find us on social media, and obviously Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Those are all the ones that where you can find us. YouTube, you just type in Citrus Preps, and that's where we will be. And
just remember, you want to tune in live, and you can catch Brett and Coach Dave Hamilton on the
Coach
call
Hamilton,
for that.
Yeah, people looking forward to hearing him talk a little high school basketball.
He's very knowledgeable about that.
He won a lot of basketball games, so he knows what he's doing. And I know the coaches love to come talk to him before, during, and after. And he's not afraid to tell them what they should do. So as we said, that will get underway. Our live stream will begin in December, one of the first Fridays of December.
Just wanted to also throw out there, if you're looking to help us out a little bit and sponsor for the girls basketball, boys basketball, you schedule the game of the week, give us a call here. Or you can call me or email me at md@godeem.com. And you can actually get me on Twitter, MD Sports Machine at Twitter. So give me a buzz and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for the same growth and the same excitement that we saw during the football season. Yeah. We've live streamed a lot of basketball games in the past over at the radio station. So I think it will continue to be good. Should be a fun basketball season. I think it's going to be interesting. And we haven't talked a lot about it, Mike. This is the last year for boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer, volleyball as well. They changed the playoff format in the FHSAA. They voted on that. One of the folks on the committee was Ron Allen from Lecanto. We'll get him on here in a little bit to talk about it. But what they've done, this is a normal year. This will be the year where if you go into the district tournament, you fit, and I'm talking basketball especially, but you go into the district tournament, and soccer is the same way. You finish first or second. You make it to the district championship game. You're in the state playoffs.
Yep.
Next school year, that will change. They're going to, I describe it best as sort of it's the football format point system, with the exception of, instead of the point system, they're using the Max Preps rankings. And so how that's going to work for high school basketball, you are going to be placed in a region, and you're also going to be in a district. You do not have to play regular season district games, which is kind of part of the compromise that everyone went for. So you do not have to play your district games. There is a district tournament at the end of the year. So whoever you get put with, and I would assume when they reclassify and do everything, more than likely the district here, which is now 6A7, they're minimizing the number of classes too. They're bringing it down to 6, which is, they hope, going to help. You're probably going to see the same district tournament, more or less. Crystal River, Lecanto, Citrus, Nature Coast, Central, Weeki Wauchee, and Hernando. But you do not have to play them during the regular season, which for some schools, that was a scheduling issue, because as it stands right now, you got 12 regular season games knocked off because you play each of your district opponents twice. That won't be the case next year. Now, I think around here it'll be pretty simple, because the schools
still want to keep that
pretty good. Yeah. It's easy to do it. So I would assume most of those schools will play each other home and home and put the schedule together. But what will happen at the end of the year, they will take a look at your Max Preps rankings and who is in your district, and they will seed you in the district tournament accordingly. The winner of the district tournament, and remember, we're talking next year, not this year, the winner of the district tournament automatically in the state playoffs, like it is in football, and you get one of the 4 top seeds in the state tournament in your region. You will host. Wow. The next 4 are wild card teams after you get through the district tournament, and those wild card seedings are determined by the Max Preps rankings, like they do the point standings in football. We'll see how it works out. Remember, the initial idea from the FHSAA was to break these up into what they call Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was based on your previous 3-year records. And schools from around here were going to be like Division 4 or 5, and there's a lot of a negative stigma attached to that, because they haven't won a lot of games compared to some of the. So they went away from that. It's still going to be by population. It's still going to be 6. Class 6 will be the bigger schools, 5. So it'll still be that.
Miami.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. Same thing as I said. Boys and girls soccer will be the same way. Volleyball, baseball, and softball. Those are the 7 sports that are going to be affected by this new
I know that
system.
It's a good and bad thing because, when I coached high school soccer and we would always go to Fleming Island if we won district and we would just get torched every time because, it's a beautiful place, but, they just got a great program up there.
And they still have got the problem of you're going to have teams in classifications that are still going to be the powerhouses. That's why the FHSA was thinking of doing like I said, the Division 1, 2, and 3. If you have a Class 2A school that is an absolute power in soccer, their idea was, well, if you're winning 90% of your games, you're going to be moved up and play the best of the best, whether you're a 5A, a 3A, or a 2A.
Yeah.
But the athletic directors, the coaches didn't want that. They wanted it more based on population if there was going to be a change. Part of the reason the FHSA wanted the change, maybe not even part of it, I'll say a big reason they wanted it was because they did not like the gates they were getting, especially at boys and girls basketball in Lakeland. The games were blowouts in the semifinals.
Yep.
There was not interest in it because there was usually one team that was dominant, maybe three teams that weren't, and you had blowouts. FHSAA saw attendance drop, didn't like it. Yeah, there it is right there.
This is what it's all about.
It's the
right
dollar,
here.
and they wanted to fix that. And I think the coaches and the AD said, hold on a second here. You're trying to fix the last two games of the season.
Yeah.
Don't blow it all up just for that. And I think this is why there's that compromise of, okay, we're still going to be in districts. We're still going to be playing teams close to us. The only difference now mainly is, if you finish second in your district tournament, you do not automatically get into the state playoffs. And so if you're like the number 6 team in your district tournament, and you make it to the championship game,
that doesn't mean you're going to go on.
This year, you're in the state playoffs. Yeah. Next year, unless you win that championship game, it's probably not going to be enough in the points to get you in. You're not going to jump 4 or 5 teams from your own district plus others. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. We still we saw a coin flip in the football playoffs.
The 09 team.
09 team got in because they had accrued enough points by losing to teams who were
better than
very, very good. And, that caused all sorts of uproar.
Yeah.
And is it fair? Well, I don't know if there is.
There's going to be a tweak on that one. You already know that.
There is, but, I've seen it, and I've said it before, in a handful of different states. I've seen state championships run and seeded, some just districts, some by point standings, some by a combination of things. And there's always teams that don't like it, maybe deserve to get in, that didn't.
That's in anything, though. NCAA.
It's
college football playoffs right now. We're talking about it. What are you talking about?
It's going to be. I think just for the coaches and the ADs, especially since football, because this is year number 2 of the point system, they're going to have to evaluate over the next couple of years. Is this the best way to go about it, or did we like it before when it was first and second in the district? I don't know the answer to that.
You won't.
It's hard to tell. I know from a football standpoint this year, the district that we cover, 5A7, 3 teams made the playoffs. Nature Coast, Hernando, and Crystal River. That was good.
Yeah.
That's a positive. Under the old system, 2 teams, and that doesn't happen.
Nope.
Hernando would have been the team left out. 2 of the 3 lost in the opening round of the state playoffs. What does that mean? I think for football, it means that these schools in the other regions and the areas are, a little bit better right now. And our schools have got to get a little bit better to win.
It'll happen.
It's been a while since a team from around here has won a playoff game, and we got to get that fixed. And I think the coaches hopefully are on the right track. So just wanted to mention the playoff. We're going to have Coach Allen talk about it, and he'll tell us his thoughts on it. I know that this was the compromise that everybody seemed to be okay with, so we shall see.
I'm glad they did it in a big room somewhere else out of the way.
Yeah, they did in Gainesville.
Get it on the field. Get it on the court.
It went through. And
finish it on the court. Finish it on the field.
This is a normal year, so enjoy the high school basketball
there you go.
Season. We will continue to bring you stories as we go through the winter sports. Our basketball game of the week, stories on soccer and weightlifting as well. We'll go through all that, so keep it tuned in to Twitter and to our YouTube page. We will keep you updated with as many stories as I can physically churn out over the next few weeks. So, coaches, if you don't hear from me, find me and tell me to get out to your practice and do a story, because you deserve it. So we're going to do our best, and we will continue to be here every Wednesday, talking high school sports in Citrus County, giving you updates on what's going on, previewing games coming up, and I guess we can even be here next. It's the day before Thanksgiving. We can do it next week, right?
You're not cooking. I'm just fasting.
Yes, that's the best thing to do. Real quick, we haven't done this much this year, but I'll do it. I'll throw it on you, because you've been involved with Pewter Power forever. How and what do you do?
I don't know. This is one of the first times in 15 years I've figured out. I have no idea what
Talk
Coach
about the Bucks. It's bad.
I don't even know. I mean, when you're playing a journeyman quarterback above a so-called quarterback you want for the rest of the year, for your life as a team, and it's ridiculous. But
it's
I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you right now,
they're going to be looking for a new coach, right?
Pretty much a new coach, a new coaching staff. The problem and Winston may be gone too.
Yeah, and the problem with you have gone in the last couple of coaching hires. You've hired a head coach with head coaching experience. Didn't work.
Nope.
You brought in what you thought was the young, flashy offensive coordinator to work with your quarterback of the future. That didn't work. So you failed at the two ways you try to go about it: hiring the best coordinator out there or a former head coach. You can't hire a head coach that's a college guy. Even if Nick Saban is available, you're not doing that.
You can, but it comes out like Schiano.
Yeah. So and they failed at that too.
And they did too.
And that's the question to me would be where do you the one common denominator through all of this is obviously, well, two things. Part of it is the GM, who I assume is going to be looking for a job.
He has to.
Mason Light, right? And then you got the boys, the Glazer boys, who are putting the stamp, I assume, on everything. They're the key to the failure.
Well, let me look at it. The Glazer boys also own Manchester United,
which takes all sorts of hits for the way they're being run.
Exactly.
Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, go down the list, right?
Yeah. So, is there a correlation there?
Yeah, bad ownership.
Up to you.
I mean, bad ownership. I mean, you
got to figure out a way. I mean, Color House was an atrocious thing, but he ran him into the ground.
Well, and I think a lot of people thought Malcolm was not the best either, but sometimes be careful what you wish for. So
exactly.
It'll be interesting to see what the Buccaneers. The only positive I could think of was the fact that as I'm looking at Drew Brees and Matt Ryan and Cam Newton, I'm thinking, in what, 3 or 4 years,
they're all gone.
Drew Brees, I'm assuming, is going to be gone in 3. He's as amazing as he is. I mean, Matt Ryan's still.
Yeah, that's true.
He's still.
Cam Newton will be here, but
I mean, I don't know. So if you're the next head coach and you can keep it together for 3+ years, you're going to eventually have new quarterbacks at those 3 other teams, right?
Yeah, but
and you're going to have a chance, right?
I just don't understand. Yeah, right is right, but yeah, this is the hardest division that you have. I mean, this division has been in the Super Bowl the last 3 times, so
yeah,
you figure that there's a lot of competition in there. You can't.
This
division is hard.
5 years, and Drew Brees is still tossing it around.
Exactly.
He doesn't get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I don't know. It's an amazing season for them, but yeah, I just wanted to get your input.
I don't have an input on it anymore. I actually don't even. I actually like whatever. I just watch the game. I'm okay.
It was, and I'm not. I apologize to those of you who are diehard Buccaneer fans, because that was the first time Sunday that I watched straight through, and I mean, I wanted to. All I could do was laugh.
It was hard
because every time you thought something good, then it failed, and you just had to. I
think Cutter unfortunately sealed his fate when he took over. Now, I mean, they gained 501 yards, but scored only 3 points.
They didn't put up 3 points, and it wasn't Cutter's fault.
It wasn't Cutter's fault.
They made it was
but
Patrick's
at the same time.
The only question I had after the game was, if you switched jerseys and that was Winston quarterbacking and he made the same mistakes, what would the people on social media have said?
They'd be screaming.
This is his last game. He's gone. He's traded.
Exactly.
And he probably should, but that just shows you the state that they're in and how Dirk Cutter is.
I thought for sure that this week against the Giants they would change up to Winston to see what he has in order to figure out whether they're going to give him $21 million next year. Well, that's the only thing I would think it would do. But he said no. Fitzpatrick's going to start. That to me just dumbfounded me. I had no idea.
If I'm the owner, that's when I make the call.
You step in
and you say, "Thank you for your time. We'll write you a check as you go out the door."
They have never done that though.
No. And Jason Light the same way. Thank you for your time. Move on. Let Monken just run it for the rest of the year. Let Winston be the. I mean, unless the Bucs have already made up their. Maybe they have said that we're done with the Jameis Winston experiment.
They might have.
And if that's truly what they believe, that they are not going to invest in him and it's over, then I'm okay with not playing him.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think it's bad. Don't
just remember, Bucs fans, Steve Young, Trent Dilfer, Doug Williams, all let go from the Buccaneers and all won Super Bowls.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, I don't know if Jameis Winston can be fixed. I don't know how broken he is. I don't know what his ceiling is or if he's already reached it. I just know. Remember, after a year in L.A., Jared Goff was he was Ryan Leaf. I mean, he was the worst. He was Jamarcus Russell. I mean, they were laughing at the Rams. He got with the right coordinator, and look at what he's doing right now with the Rams.
You look at Drew Brees. He went from his team. He got a hurt shoulder. He came to New Orleans. He thrived under Sean Payton.
Yeah. So is Jameis Winston physically and mentally, is he as good as Jared Goff? I find it hard to believe that you can say definitively Jared Goff is way better than Jameis Winston.
Totally agree.
So if Jared Goff can do what he's doing and go back from looking like he had no business in football, it makes me think there's a chance for Jameis Winston, but I don't know if that'll come in Tampa.
That's the issue.
But then who do you want out there? Who's your next quarterback of the future?
2019 draft is not looking good.
No, there isn't anybody. Who do you want? Do you see anybody?
No, not at all. Mike Glennon's available.
Yeah, and there's a good reason. I can't believe we just spent.
I know
that's the first. And
that was your tangent. You came off.
I know. I just thought you would enjoy talking about it.
I did. That's great.
It's almost.
We'll get back to the preps, but
yeah, that'll do it for us for Citrus Preps for this week. The podcast, we appreciate it. Stay tuned, as we said, to our YouTube page. We'll keep preview stories for boys and girls basketball, soccer, all the winter sports, plus update you on everything else. And we'll be back here next Wednesday with the next podcast.
And coming soon, our website.
Yeah, coming up soon. So stay tuned to that, and we'll see everybody next week.